one of you.
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
This is my home. They're gonna need a wrecking ball to take me out of here.
All right, everybody. We had a pretty exciting month on Bitcoin, so we're going to do a Bitcoin analysis and what we see so far. So we'll start on the monthly on the machine. And as of right now, we are in a bullish trend, pushing up on that 20, coming up into that 3.2R, which is at 73,000. Things are bullish, tons of support below us at that 51,000 mark. Coming into the weekly, pretty much the same thing, very strong support with the 20 on the quasi being as high as it is at 250. So we do have extremely strong support at 54,500, and then we're just pushing that 3.2R right now at 70,600. Look at the 3-day real quick, probably be the same thing, but again, you know, we're in trend to the upward direction, pushing that 20 Bollinger Band up. Very strong support again at 58,150. We can see that the 20 on the quasi, the white one here, is quite high. The 10 is starting to come down, so we see a little bit of a pullback lately, but again, super bullish on the 3-day with the 3.2R at 73,000. Coming into the daily. So on the daily, we see a little bit of a change. Again, full trend coming back to that 20. We had the 10 come into this range, the 20, so we had that little bit of a pullback. Then the 10 pushed us back up, pushing the 20 Bollinger Band one more time. And then again, very strong support on the 50, which is at that 59,000 area. And then the 3.2R at 75,600. And currently that 10 is just starting to push out of that quasi again. So we could try to push up, try to take it this high. We'll see if it's successful or not, but let's go to a lower time frame to see what we see. And then on the 4-hour itself, showing a little bit of weakness here. Again, we had that 50 come into the band, pushed down into that 50, the 200 well above the quasi 100, which is the purple here. So price was held there no matter what, and will continue to be so because we are above that 200. Now the 50 and 100 are starting to show a little bit of weakness, but we are still above that plus 100. So we did kind of just pop right out. Typically what we'll see is when price does come into a range area, it does try to break free one more time. So we kind of came into that 20. Now it's trying to push out of that 20. It has stayed within it. And then we can actually see, which is really nice, on the 4-hour here, is that the 50 is acting as support because the 50 is just above that plus 100. And then we also have the 20 acting as a resistance. So we're basically stuck in between 68,000 and 66.5 for now. Now if this 10 could kind of push up just a little bit higher and come back down, we can see like try to get do one more little push out and then likely come back down depending on this 10 and how it forms from there. So as of right now though, we are stuck between that 66 and 68, and then pretty strong, well, I shouldn't say that. There is support at 65,000 and then extremely strong support at 61,300. Just going to bring up the logic real quick here just to kind of see where the pivot is at. So the pivot on the, let's take a look at the 8-hour. So we have a pivot on the 360. All right, so we do have our pivot basically at the 52,500. So price will continue to be bullish on Bitcoin until it does get to that 52,500 area. Now, if it does come back down into this range, this will act as pretty strong support. We'd like to see a pretty high bounce off, coming back up into here or wherever, and then coming down to that 44,500. But again, this can completely change as progress, and as of right now, this is our trend line, and as long as we're above it, we're at extremely strong bullish cycle. All right, so just going to go into what we saw this month so far on the Nexus. So let me go into the Nexus here. Now, I did go into the Discord. I'll bring up the Discord. All right, so on the Discord itself, I did post some shorts that were nice to take on March 3rd. Today is the 6th. So let me just copy this one into Algo. So this was the Algo one. Let me come back into TradingView. All right, so this was the Algo trade that I put out there. Now with this Algo trade, we had a daily short of 6.5%, weekly short of 8%, and then monthly short of 22%. Now if we go from the top of this monthly to that 22, if we go to the monthly to that 22%, we're kind of sitting in and around that price range, just above the monthly R1, so kind of in and around this 24.80 area, which was kind of near the top. Now we are pushing that again, but when I did post this, I was like, this is gonna be a good area for a short. And again, you can see that we actually did get that short right down into this lower pivot, and this was the take profit here at 20.60. So it was a 22%. And let me bring up the next one here. This one was on Atom. So on Atom itself, kind of the same thing. Again, we only had 11% short, but we had the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. And again, 11% from the top of this monthly range, which was in and around this price range, just at the previous month high. And again, we had that 11% drop down to that take profit at the top of the monthly range at 11.07. And we'll look at the big one. We'll look at one more. This one's on Jasmy. So when Jasmy was pushing, it'd be pretty hard to assume that we're going to get that 30% from the top of that monthly. So if I do the top of this monthly to 30%, when I posted this, again, we're at that previous month high. Once we broke below that previous month high, we had that return right back into that top of that monthly pivot at 18, giving people in the Discord a 31% chance of success. All right, so we'll go back into Bitcoin, see what we see on the Nexus on Bitcoin. Starting in the higher time frames, we are above that monthly range, and because this yearly is higher than the previous one, we're looking for a continuation of the upside, which we definitely got. Previous month high, pushing the yearly R2. Same thing on the quarterly. Quarterly, we're at the yearly R3. And, the yearly R4 at 78,000, that's a pretty extreme limit on the quarterly. And then let's take a quick look at the monthly. So on the monthly itself, as of right now, we did push down into that weekly pivot, hitting it perfectly. However, we haven't hit the monthly yet. So it's a very high probability that, we may take out liquidity one more time. I think we're showing a little bit of weakness now, but we'll see how it plays out. And we do have that divergence creating that push down to the weekly, but we do have the naked monthly still down here below, which is currently still at a, 12%. Let's just go with 12% drop down into that monthly range. Now, of course, we do still have some nakeds from previous ranges. Let me just bring up a couple more. So we do have this naked here and this naked here, which is at that 32,000 mark, which would also pretty much bring us back into that yearly, kind of in that yearly range at 33,500. Now, just because of where this one came, it is questionable. Like, it's only a couple dollar difference. If I looked at other exchanges, we could say that possibly this one was hit. But, this monthly here still does concern me a little bit. And we'll see if we do get that 32,000. But as of right now, like I said, just based on the machine, we're still extremely bullish. Kind of running out of steam a little bit here, in my opinion. But we'll see how it plays out. We could come down into that monthly, fill in these imbalances up to that 52,800 area, and then take off again. And if we actually look at a bigger picture, depending on how you want to look at it, we could say that there is that. We could say that there is this bowl here, and then it just needs to form the handle. And then once it forms the handle at that 53,000 range, then we could say that we have the possibility to shoot right up to basically whatever this is here. So let's just copy that over real quick, and then we'll end this stream. Getting a little longer than I'd like. And then that would give us that 113,000 that everyone's looking for. And, you have the extreme influencers, they're saying 200,000 is coming in, but we'll stick with this monthly for now, pushing up a little bit higher, take liquidity, get to that monthly, and then we'll see how it all plays out in the end. All right, so thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.
Visit unRekt.me and download our free powerful indicators. And join our community of traders in our Discord server and get full access to the machine suite indicators the Nexus Suite Indicators, and the Nexus Screener.